Bienvenidos and welcome to another episode of Spain on a Fork. Today, once again, we're going to grab some canned chickpeas. As you know, one of my favorite ingredients at supermarkets, not only because they're heart healthy and affordable, but they're super versatile, and we're creating an extraordinary recipe. We're talking crispy chickpea nuggets. And let me tell you, these chickpea nuggets have a light crispy texture on the outside, with a beautiful pop of flavors in the inside. The recipe is very easy to make, where there's no tricky techniques or weird equipment needed. And the best part, it's all done in about 30 minutes. Folks, serve these chickpea nuggets as a tapas appetizer, or even as a main course, next to some roasted potatoes and a garden salad. Either way, it's the kind of food that with each bite, it's gonna fill you with so much goodness. All right, let's just dive right into this. I'm gonna drain 1 can of chickpeas into a colander and rinse the chickpeas under some water. Size of the can that I'm using is 15.5 ounces, which is 440 grams. Then we'll shake off any of the excess water. Transfer the chickpeas into a large bowl. And using a potato masher or a large fork, we'll mash down on the chickpeas until they're well mashed. You can also use a food processor here if you like. Then we'll crack in 1 large egg into a separate bowl and whisk the egg. And pour it over the mashed chickpeas. We'll also add in a 1/4 cup of plain breadcrumbs, which is 30 grams. 2 tablespoons of milk, which is 30 milliliters. I'm using low fat, but you can use whatever milk you like. 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, which is 3 grams. 1 teaspoon of onion powder, which is 2.5 grams. And 1/2 teaspoon of sweet smoked Spanish paprika, which is 1.25 grams. Then we'll season with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And we'll give it a mix until everything is well mixed together. Once everything's well mixed, we'll push down on the mixture until we end up with a paste-like texture. This is to ensure that all the ingredients are well bound together. To shape the nuggets, we'll grab a spoonful of the mixture and squeeze it in our hands. Once again, this is just to ensure that all the ingredients are well bound together. And we'll shape into a nugget, which is basically an oval patty. You want the thickness to be a little over 1/4 inch, which is about 1 centimeter. And if you see that your mixture is too wet to work with, add in some more breadcrumbs, and vice versa if it's too dry, add in some whisked egg. And as you finish each nugget, add them over some parchment paper, that way they don't stick to the surface. Once all the nuggets have been shaped, I'm going to add in 1/2 cup of all-purpose flour into a bowl, which is 60 grams. Crack in 2 eggs into a separate bowl. Season with sea salt and freshly cracked black pepper. And whisk the eggs together. And finally, we'll add in 1 cup of panko breadcrumbs into a 3rd separate bowl, which is about 100 grams. Now before we start coating our nuggets, let's start heating our oil. I'm going to heat a large fry pan with a medium heat. And add in 1/2 cup of sunflower oil, which is 120 milliliters. You can use other neutral oils here if you like, as well as bake these nuggets. 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 degrees Fahrenheit, about 15 to 20 minutes will do the trick. While the oil is heating, we'll start coating the nuggets. First, you want to go into the all-purpose flour. Then we'll go into the egg wash. And finally into the breadcrumbs. You want to make sure at each stage that the nuggets are fully coated all around. And as you're breading the nuggets, if you see that they're breaking apart, you just add them into the freezer for about 30 minutes, which will help harden them up. Once all the nuggets have been breaded, let's move back to the fry pan. After a couple minutes and the oil's nice and hot, we'll add in the nuggets. And you want to make sure they're on a single layer and evenly spaced out, so cook this in batches to not overcrowd the pan. And we're going to go for about 3 minutes per side until the nuggets are golden and crispy. And as you finish each batch, transfer the nuggets over a wire rack with some paper towels underneath. And we'll cook the rest of our nuggets in the exact same method. Once all the nuggets have been fried up, we'll transfer some into a serving dish. And check it out, folks, our crispy chickpea nuggets are done. Make sure to serve these next to your favorite sauce. I like to dip them in the barbecue sauce. Either way, check it out. Easy to make, beautiful presentation, and all done in about 30 minutes. Let's give these a try and see how it turned out. Once again, folks, crispy chickpea nuggets, time for the moment of truth. Here we go. Wow. That texture says it all. You have that crispiness in the outside. The inside, so many great flavors with the chickpeas really shining through, and the spices rounds out for the perfect balance of goodness. But for me, the real winner is that we got some canned chickpeas and a couple other basic ingredients, and we got so much goodness out of this. Give it a try at home. Once again, it's a tapas appetizer, even as a main course, next to some roasted potatoes and a garden salad. Either way, the kind of food that's gonna fill you with so much goodness. Real quick before I go, a shout out to a couple of my patrons, Elaine Engros, Kelly Lorang, and Ronald Kemp. You guys, thank you so much for being patrons of Spain on a Fork. You know how much I appreciate you. Enjoyed today's video, hit that like button, leave me a comment below, and if you're not subscribed, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and click on the bell icon. That way you can get notified every time I release new content and to become a part of the Spain on a Fork family. Till the next time, hasta luego.